So I was one day walking along Sunset Boulevard, and it was playing in a double bill with something else, I forget. It was Scarface. I just wanted to, I wanted to imitate him. I wanted to do something.
For many out there, Scarface is one of those classic movies that never gets old. But one cast member spent years fighting a disease that slowly erased his memories. Another hid a serious illness that kept him in pain even while filming. And a third became the most feared drug lord on the big screen, but lost his life a few years later. Some left older fans and loved ones in pain, while others left unanswered questions. So what really happened? Join us as we explore 10 of those tragedies and uncover their real stories. Robert Loggia. His greatest strength as an actor was remembering every line at exactly the right moment. Then one disease slowly took those memories away, one piece at a time. The way it happened was heartbreaking. Robert Loggia was the man who gave Tony Montana his first big chance, playing Frank Lopez, the Miami drug boss who hires a Cuban refugee and brings him into the drug business. Frank thinks he is building a loyal partner. He never realizes he is helping train the man who will one day take everything from him. Loggia was already a respected actor long before Scarface. He appeared in shows like The Rockford Files and Charlie's Angels, served in the U.S. Army, and trained at New York's famous Actors Studio. After Scarface, he kept working for more than 30 years. He earned an Oscar nomination for Jagged Edge, danced across the giant piano with Tom Hanks in Big, and later played mobster Feech LaManna on The Sopranos. But by 2010, everything changed. Loggia began to forget the simplest things, and doctors diagnosed him with Alzheimer's disease. For the next 5 years, his wife Audrey watched the actor known for his sharp memory slowly lose it. He died at his Los Angeles home on December 4th, 2015. He was 85 years old. Sadly, he would be just one out of several. But before we continue, thank you so much for your time. It means a lot to us. Please consider liking and subscribing for more stories like this. Now, back to the film. Frank Lopez wasn't the only boss Tony Montana had to face. The next man barely raised his voice on screen, and that calm confidence is exactly what made him so terrifying. Paul Shenar. The same year Scarface made him famous, Paul Shenar received a private diagnosis that would later take his life. And for fans of Scarface, if Frank Lopez was the boss Tony Montana had to kill to rise, Alejandro Sosa was the boss who almost killed Tony in return. Shenar played the calm, ruthless Bolivian cartel leader in the second half of Scarface. He delivered the famous "Don't keep me waiting" scene and some of the film's coldest threats. He never had to shout. His quiet voice alone made Sosa terrifying. But off-screen, Shenar lived a very different life. Unlike his counterpart on screen, he was a founding member of the American Conservatory Theater in San Francisco, where he performed in more than 40 plays, including Hamlet and Macbeth. He also voiced the villain Jenner in The Secret of NIMH, giving him a second group of fans who never realized he was also the man who faced Al Pacino in Scarface. But behind the scenes, tragedy had already begun. In 1983, the year Scarface was released, Shenar was privately diagnosed with HIV. At the time, AIDS was widely seen as a death sentence. Even so, he continued acting in films like Raw Deal and The Big Blue as his health slowly declined. Paul Shenar passed away at his home in West Hollywood on October 11, 1989. He was 53 years old. This came during the height of the AIDS crisis, when Hollywood lost many talented performers. His story reminds us that some of the greatest performances on screen were given by people fighting battles most never knew about. But on screen, fans know there was one person who actually scared Tony more than any rival kingpin. Miriam Colon. every great character has a beginning, and for Tony Montana, that beginning was his mother. Miriam Colon played Mama Montana, the only person in Scarface who refused to be impressed by Tony's money, mansion, or power. She saw the man he had become and wanted no part of it. Her moments were the few times in the movie when Tony could not get his way. But Scarface was only a small part of Colon's story. Born in Ponce, Puerto Rico, she moved to New York City in 1953 and trained at the famous Actors Studio. In 1967, she started the Puerto Rican Traveling Theater, giving Hispanic actors and writers opportunities at a time when Hollywood offered very few. Her work changed many lives, so much so that in 2014, President Barack Obama honored her with the National Medal of Arts. Colon continued acting into her 80s, including a guest role on Better Call Saul in 2015. She passed away in New York on March 3, 2017, from problems caused by a lung infection. She was 80 years old. Her husband of over 40 years, Fred Val, confirmed her passing. She also starred in Bless Me, Ultima, and appeared on many television shows, from Gunsmoke and Bonanza to Law and Order. To many fans, Mama Montana was just one small role. But to generations of Latino actors, Miriam Colon was one of the people who helped build the stage for them. But on the other hand, what happens when the actor finally gets rewarded after years of hard work, only to lose his life right at the peak of his career? Margolis. You've probably seen his face somewhere, even if you don't remember his name. Sadly, right after he became famous after years of hard work, a sudden illness took his life in only a matter of days. Margolis played Alberto, also called the Shadow, one of the Bolivian henchmen Tony Montana puts down early in the movie. It was a small role, but years later, Margolis became famous around the world as Hector Salamanca, the wheelchair-bound drug lord in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Even though Hector barely spoke, his performance in the role earned Margolis an Emmy. Unlike the other actors, his road to success was anything but normal. Margolis trained under famous acting teacher Stella Adler and even worked as her assistant. But acting did not bring steady work at first. He managed a coffee house in New York, spent years building geodesic domes that traveled to college campuses, and struggled to make a living. He did not get his first major movie role until his late 30s. After Scarface, he became a favorite actor of director Darren Aronofsky, appearing in Pi Requiem for a Dream, The Wrestler, Black Swan, and Noah. Margolis passed away on August 3, 2023, at Mount Sinai Hospital in New York City after a short illness. He was 83 years old, and his son Morgan, along with Margolis's wife of over 60 years, confirmed the news. Above all, what makes his story so interesting is that many fans never realized the frightening old man from Breaking Bad was the same actor who played a small henchman in Scarface 40 years earlier. Between those two roles, he also played a mob boss in HBO's Oz and appeared in Ace Ventura, Pet Detective. His career came full circle, turning a small role with barely any lines into one of the most unforgettable faces on television. But what about the man who brought cold dread to millions of viewers? Angel Salazar. Fans have quoted his every line for over 43 years straight, so much so that some parts of his scenes have become vital internet memes in niche spaces. Yet when it came to what ended his life, his own team never fully explained it to the public. However, here is what we do know in 2026. If there is one Scarface character fans quote almost as much as Tony Montana, it is Chi-Chi. Played by Angel Salazar, he is Tony's loyal and energetic best friend during the early part of Scarface. He doesn't have the biggest story, but his humor, excitement, and loyalty made him one of the film's most memorable characters. Away from Scarface, Angel Salazar had built a career in both acting and comedy. He appeared in movies like Where the Buffalo Roam, Punchline with Tom Hanks, and later reunited with Al Pacino in Carlito's Way. At the same time, he performed as a stand-up comedian, appearing on Showtime at the Apollo in 1992 and later in the 2006 documentary The Latin Legends of Comedy. In a 2019 interview, he said nothing compared to making people laugh inside a small comedy club, where he felt closest to the audience. Angel Salazar passed away in 2025 at the age of 68. His representative confirmed his death, although the cause was never made public. And even 40 years later, fans still stopped him in public and asked him to repeat Chi-Chi's famous lines. Lasting fame from a supporting role is rare. It shows how much life Salazar brought to a character who was never meant to be the star. Born in Cuba, he began his film career in Boulevard Nights before Scarface, and went on to earn more than 50 acting credits in movies and television, while never giving up the comedy that first made him love performing. Gino Silva. He was known as the man who delivered the single most terrifying entrance in the entire film. But what almost nobody knew was that he was fighting something more frightening off-screen. We are now going to uncover what that was. Every list of the greatest movie endings almost always includes this one. Gino Silva played the Skull, the silent hitman sent to kill Tony Montana in the movie's bloody final scene. He says almost nothing during the entire film, but he doesn't have to. The moment he steps into the doorway holding a shotgun has become one of the most chilling scenes in gangster movie history. Even today, it's the image many fans picture first when they think about how Scarface ends. After Scarface, Silva kept working steadily in movies and television for many years, even though none of his later roles became as famous as the Skull. He built a long career as a dependable character actor, the kind of performer directors could always count on, even if one role became the one people remembered most. He continued acting well into his later years, while quietly dealing with a serious illness that fans didn't know about until after he passed away. Silva passed away at his home in Los Angeles on May 9th at the age of 72. His family shared that he had been living with frontotemporal degeneration, a type of dementia, for over 14 years. He kept the illness mostly private, while continuing to work for as long as he possibly could. For a character who barely spoke a single word, Gino Silva's passing led to a large number of tributes from fans who never forgot how much fear that silent performance created. It's a rare kind of legacy, becoming unforgettable because of one quiet scene. But for fans of crime and thriller movies, The Skull's final entrance is still one of the best examples of how an actor can create incredible tension without needing to say anything. The next actor acted in the scene that felt the most disturbing. Al Israel. He was the one who starred in the one scene most fans still can't unwatch. And just like Angel Salazar, how his life also came to an end remains one of this cast's biggest mysteries. The scene is the one that made most viewers cover their eyes the first time they saw Scarface. Al Israel played Hector, also known as the Toad, the Colombian drug dealer who tries to trick and torture Tony Montana with a chainsaw inside a hotel room. Even 40 years later, it remains one of the most shocking and talked about scenes among all classic crime movies, and Israel's cold, threatening performance is a big reason why people still remember it. But interestingly enough, Israel was not known for just playing the bad guys. After all, he had built a steady career in many different kinds of movies and TV shows. He later reunited with Al Pacino in Carlito's Way, playing Rolando Ruiz, and also appeared in films like Body Double, Marked for Death, Drop Zone, and Dangerous Minds. Depending on the story, he was often cast as a detective, a gunman, or a crime boss. In 2006, he even returned to play Hector again in the video game of the same franchise, where he joined two of his original castmates. It gave him the rare chance to play the same famous character more than 20 years after the movie first came out. Al Israel passed away on March 16, 2011. He was 75 years old. His cause of death was never made public, and very little is known about his final years. It was a quiet ending for the actor who helped create one of the loudest and most unforgettable scenes in the entire film. He also appeared on the hit TV show Miami Vice, another story set in the same colorful, crime-filled Miami that made Scarface so famous. It's easy to understand why directors kept bringing him back to that world, even in honorable memories. Michael Aldridge. Not every actor in Scarface needed a gun to be remembered. Meet Michael Aldridge, the man who played George Sheffield, Tony Montana's lawyer, the calm professional trying to keep up with the dangerous empire his client was building. It wasn't a huge role, but it was an important one. His character reminded viewers that Tony's world depended on lawyers and paperwork just as much as it depended on drugs and violence. Aldridge stayed busy throughout the 70s to the 90s, appearing in popular shows like Knight Rider, The A-Team, Dallas, Quantum Leap, Punky Brewster, and Three's Company. The same year Scarface was released, he also played Bill Graham in the TV miniseries V. He was the kind of actor people recognized right away, even if they couldn't remember his name. That made him valuable to directors because he could fit naturally into almost any kind of show, from crime dramas and science fiction to sitcoms, without ever feeling out of place. Michael Aldridge passed away on December 19, 1997, in Los Angeles at the age of 56. He died from lung cancer. Even while he was sick, he kept acting almost until the end, with television credits released the same year he passed away. A year before Scarface, he also gave a memorable performance in the horror movie The Entity, playing a husband trying to help his wife through a terrifying and unexplained nightmare. It showed that his talent reached far beyond the quiet professional roles that many fans knew him for. Ted Beniottis. His scene on screen barely lasted a minute, but his actual story lasted through an entire world war, Broadway's golden age, and a marriage that outlasted almost everyone he knew. Some of the most memorable moments in Scarface belong to actors who are only on screen for a few minutes. Ted Beniottis played Officer Seidelbaum, the undercover police officer who confronts Tony Montana about unpaid taxes in one of the movie's subtle but more tense scenes. Beniottis had one of the longest and most interesting journeys to that role of anyone in the cast. Born in the Bronx to Greek immigrant parents, he joined the U.S. Army in 1943 and served in the Second World War. After returning home, he studied acting at New York's Dramatic Workshop, alongside future stars like Marlon Brando and Walter Matthau. He made his Broadway debut with Henry Fonda in Mr. Roberts and went on to perform in 10 Broadway productions during the golden age of American theater. Sharing the stage during the famous Rodgers and Hammerstein era, he had also worked with Al Pacino years earlier in Serpico. So by the time Scarface was made, the two actors already knew each other well. What they didn't know was that time was running out. Ted Beniottis passed away at his home in Brookville, Pennsylvania, on October 24, 2014, at the age of 91. His family said he was still sharing his talent by doing voice work for a local community theater just a few years before his death. He met his wife, actress Marion Lauer, while they were both performing in the Broadway musical Wonderful Town in 1953. They stayed married for 55 years until she passed away in 2009, only 5 years after him. And now, let's honor the final memory. Harris Yulin. We'll end with the biggest name so far, because there's a good chance you've seen this actor much more recently than you realize. Harris Yulin played the corrupt Miami detective who tries to force Tony Montana to pay him protection money early in Scarface. It's not a large role, but it's an important one because it shows how deeply corruption had spread through Tony's world from the very beginning. What makes Yul Brynner's passing feel different from many of the other actors on this list is that he never stopped working. While many of his Scarface castmates faded from the spotlight, Yulin stayed busy in movies and television for decades. Harris Yulin appeared in Training Day, Clear and Present Danger, Ghostbusters 2, and Multiplicity. He played the judge in a courtroom haunted by ghosts, matched wits with Harrison Ford as a clever national security advisor, and, during the last years of his career, a whole new generation got to know him as Buddy Deeker, the strange old man with a criminal past on Netflix's Ozark. He also had a recurring role on Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. Harris Yulin died from cardiac arrest in New York City in 2025 at 87. During a career that lasted more than half a century, he never became a traditional Hollywood superstar, and he seemed perfectly happy with that outcome. In one interview, he said he was never a high-profile actor and simply took the next job that came along. But if you ask many people under 30 whether they've seen him on screen, the answer is probably yes, even if they don't remember his name. That's why Yul Brynner's death reached so many people. He wasn't just part of Scarface history. Until very recently, he was still appearing in shows that millions of people were watching. Over the years, Harris Yulin also became a familiar face on Frasier, voiced the head of the Watchers Council on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and played an NSA director on 24. That means several generations of viewers came to know him for different roles before many of them ever went back and discovered his small but unforgettable part in Scarface, a movie released before they were born. There are many more precious memories associated with the show, but we'd love to hear them from you in the comments below. Tell us what you think. Thank you for watching this far. If you enjoyed this, please consider liking and subscribing for more stories like it. Also, click on the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it. Until next time, take care.